I'm talking about the 2000 D Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth $1.4 million. And the craziest part? It's hiding in plain sight. For decades, collectors and casual coin holders alike have passed over this coin, unaware that a simple glance at its tiny details could unlock unimaginable wealth. The story begins in the United States Mint at the turn of the millennium. 2000 was supposed to be a normal year for pennies, routine, ordinary. But something went wrong. A mistake so subtle, so hidden, that almost no one noticed it. And that mistake created one of the rarest, most valuable Lincoln pennies in history. Now, imagine the journey of this penny. Struck in Denver, destined to be just another coin in circulation, slipping quietly into pockets, drawers, and coin jars. Most of these pennies ended up in the change jar, the tip jar, the grocery store cash register. But a few, the rarest few, escaped notice. They survived the years, untouched, until one day, someone realized they were sitting on a treasure worth over $1 million. Here's what makes this coin so special. On the 2000 D penny, there's a detail most people would never even look for. It's in the way the letters are formed, the subtle doubling of the D mint mark, the delicate shift in the design that only expert eyes can spot. Most people see a normal Lincoln penny and move on. But this coin? It whispers secrets to those who know how to listen. It's a coin that's not just rare, it's unique, almost like it was calling someone to find it. Now, let's pause for a moment. Picture yourself at a yard sale, or maybe sorting through a jar of loose change on your kitchen counter. The coins clink and rattle, ordinary, everyday pennies. But one of them catches your eye. Not because it looks different at first glance, but because something about it feels important. That's the thrill of coin collecting. The knowledge that a single, ordinary-looking penny could change your life forever. To identify this coin, you have to know exactly what to look for. The first clue is the mint mark. You're looking for a D, struck in Denver. But not just any D. The 2000 D penny has what collectors call a double die variety in some cases, meaning the design was accidentally stamped twice in alignment that creates a subtle, ghost-like doubling on the letters. Check Lincoln's profile. Check the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters appear thicker, or if there's a shadow doubling, you might be holding something extraordinary. The truth is, very few. That's why when one surfaces, collectors react like they've just discovered buried treasure. Because it's not just a coin. It's a time capsule, a piece of history, and potentially a ticket to a life-changing amount of money. Over $1 million in some cases. But let me tell you, this coin isn't just valuable because it's rare. It's valuable because it tells a story. A story about human error, about chance, about the quiet moments in life when opportunity hides in plain sight. Every scratch, every mark, every tiny imperfection carries meaning. And the people who recognize it, they're the ones who might just find themselves staring at a pile of pennies one morning and realizing their life has changed forever. You might wonder how these coins escape detection for so long. After all, collectors and dealers comb through thousands of pennies each year. But that's the magic of rarity. The 2000 D Lincoln penny hides in plain sight, unassuming, blending in with ordinary coins. Most people don't know to look for the doubling, the subtle hints of its extraordinary nature. Most people walk past it every single day, unaware that they just passed over a fortune. Here's another tip for spotting this coin. Light matters. Hold the penny under a bright lamp. Tilt it just so. Look for shadows on the lettering, subtle shifts in the design, the way Lincoln's profile catches the light. Some collectors even use magnifying glasses or jeweler's loupes to study the coin. Every detail matters because even the tiniest difference could mean the difference between a regular penny and $1 million penny. And the stories of discovery are unbelievable. Imagine a retired schoolteacher sorting coins on a quiet Sunday morning, and suddenly, something makes her pause. She brings it to a dealer, and within moments, she learns the penny in her hand could be worth over $1 million. Or think of the man who found one tucked into his change at a diner, a coin he'd carried in his pocket for years without realizing its true value. These aren't just coins. These are life-changing moments frozen in copper. But in the world of coin collecting, it happens more often than you'd think. The 2000 D Lincoln penny is a perfect storm. Historical significance, minting error, rarity, and the human fascination with treasure. Combine those, and suddenly, ordinary copper becomes an extraordinary fortune. And here's something important. Don't assume the coin has to be perfect to be valuable. Even circulated pennies can command incredible prices if they have the right characteristics. Yes, grading matters. Yes, condition matters. But sometimes, a coin with small wear still carries the weight of history and rarity that collectors will pay top dollar for. That's how powerful this coin is. It doesn't just sit in a collection, it commands attention, respect, and yes, money. Take a moment to imagine yourself holding this penny. Imagine the thrill, the disbelief, the pure joy of knowing that a simple, everyday object is worth more than anything you've ever imagined. That feeling, that rush, is why collectors chase coins like this. It's not just about money. It's about discovery, about unlocking hidden secrets, about connecting with history in a way that's personal, immediate, and utterly unforgettable. And this is the point where most people give up. They look at a jar of pennies, shrug, and think there's nothing there. But the truth is, hidden in that jar could be a coin worth millions. Hidden in that drawer, on that counter, in that forgotten box of coins, could be a 2000 D Lincoln penny just waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. And when those eyes do, everything changes. So here's the takeaway. Learn the signs, study the details, hold each coin with care. Check the D mint mark, examine the letters, look for doubling, tilts, shadows, anything unusual. Treat each penny as if it might be hiding a secret. Because in the world of coins, one small detail can make the difference between nothing and a fortune, literally millions of dollars. Coins have stories. Coins have lives. And sometimes, the coin that's been sitting quietly in your pocket or drawer is waiting for you to notice it. The 2000 D Lincoln penny is more than copper and metal. It's a key to history, to possibility, to dreams realized. A single coin that could turn ordinary life into extraordinary wealth. One single penny, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice it. The story begins in 1993. The United States Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies that year, each intended for everyday use. People dropped them in cash registers, pockets, and piggy banks without a thought. But among all those pennies, one anomaly occurred. A small, almost invisible mistake that would turn an everyday coin into a potential fortune. The 1993 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's elusive, mysterious, almost like the coin was never meant to exist. For decades, collectors scoured rolls of pennies hoping to stumble upon this rare treasure. And yet, it remains one of the most shocking discoveries in modern numismatics. Imagine holding a coin that someone else might dismiss as trash, but in reality, it could be your ticket to over $1 million. Here's where it gets fascinating. Most 1993 pennies carry a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But this rare coin, it carries no mint mark at all. That absence is the key, the clue that separates a coin worth a few cents from a coin that could change your life forever. When you hold it, you're not just holding a piece of metal. You're holding history, an accidental miracle born in a mint full of routine production, a minting error that collectors dream about for decades. Finding one is like stumbling into a hidden room in your own home, a place you never knew existed but has been there the entire time. Imagine the thrill of digging through a jar of pennies and realizing, your heart pounding, that the coin in your hand isn't ordinary. It's rare. It's priceless. It could be worth over $1 million. Now, I want you to picture the journey of this coin. After leaving the mint, it slipped into the hands of everyday Americans. It changed pockets and purses, it jingled in cash registers, and yet, it remained unnoticed. For years, collectors and coin dealers assumed it was a myth, something whispered about in forums and numismatic circles. And then, slowly, the truth began to emerge. A few lucky people, paying careful attention to the details, discovered the coin. They held in their hands the literal embodiment of millions of dollars hiding in plain sight. It's not about the shine, not about the color. The first thing to check is the date, 1993. Then look closely at the mint mark. If there's none, and I mean absolutely no D or P anywhere near Lincoln's bust, you may be holding a piece of history. Examine it under a magnifying glass. Every detail matters, because collectors who know what to look for can see the difference immediately. This coin isn't just rare because of the missing mint mark. It's rare because so few survived, unnoticed, over 30 years of circulation. Let me pause for a moment and tell you a story. A man in Ohio, let's call him Jack, was emptying his coin jar one evening. He flipped each penny, slowly, almost absent-mindedly. Then it happened. A glint of something unusual caught his eye. The coin was smooth, flawless, with no mint mark. His pulse raced. Could it really be the 1993 no mint mark penny? The excitement, the disbelief, the hope. It's a feeling you can't explain until it happens to you. That single moment changed Jack's life forever. Millions of people overlook pennies every day. They buy coffee, tip a waiter, drop them in machines. And yet, among them could be a hidden fortune. The 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that miracles can hide in the mundane, that wealth can be right under your nose without you even realizing it. Not every penny in circulation will be worth millions, but the thrill lies in knowing that one might be. Learning to identify it is everything. Look for the unmistakable absence of a mint mark. Examine the detail in Lincoln's face, the clarity of the date, the sharpness of the letters. These coins are rare, yes, but they are out there. And the ones that survive decades of pocket change are pristine, ready to reward the patient, observant collector. Collectors who have found this penny describe the emotion as overwhelming. It's not just the monetary value. Although, make no mistake, a single coin can be worth over $1 million. It's the story behind it, the accidental creation of something extraordinary, the thrill of discovery, the reminder that magic can exist in the most ordinary places. Imagine telling your friends, your family, or even strangers that the coin you pulled from your old change jar is literally worth a fortune. It's a story that inspires envy and admiration. The feeling of holding such a treasure is like touching history and possibility at the same time. And you don't have to be a professional collector to find it. You just need to know what to look for and the courage to check every penny. Every few minutes, you should reset your attention. Remember, this is not a drill. This is a real chance at discovering something life-changing. Stop for a second and think about the coins you have. Maybe in your wallet, your jar, or a forgotten drawer lies a piece of history, a rare 1993 penny with no mint mark, waiting patiently for someone to notice its value. That it's almost poetic. A coin that started as an everyday object, destined to be overlooked, now has the potential to make someone a millionaire. The irony is delicious. We spend years looking for big opportunities, massive investments, elaborate strategies. But sometimes, wealth is as simple as a single coin, patiently waiting for discovery. And if you think it's impossible, remember Jack and the others who found theirs. Ordinary people. Everyday lives transformed by a moment of attention and a bit of luck. You could be next. You could be the one to find the coin others thought didn't exist. Pay attention, be curious, and don't underestimate the power of a single penny. Because among the change you discard or forget, one rare coin could hold the key to unimaginable wealth. One coin could rewrite your story, change your life, and remind you that fortune sometimes hides in the most unassuming places. But what if I told you that among those ordinary coins, there's one so rare it could make someone a millionaire overnight? Today, we're diving into the unbelievable story of a 1998 Lincoln penny that could be worth $1.6 million. And it's hiding in plain sight. It all begins with a quiet, unsuspecting mint. In 1998, the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies. Most of them went unnoticed, slipped into circulation, lost in couches, jars, and drawers. But somewhere in that flood of ordinary coins, a tiny number had a mistake so rare, so dramatic, that collectors went absolutely wild when it surfaced. Imagine holding a coin in your hand and realizing it's not just money. It's a ticket to a life-changing fortune. The backstory is shrouded in mystery. Experts believe that during production, a misalignment caused a double die error. It's subtle, often invisible to the untrained eye. But to a collector, it's like spotting a diamond in the rough. Hundreds, even thousands of coins were made that year, but only a handful carry this exact anomaly. That's what makes this penny priceless. That's the genius of it. At first glance, it's just a normal 1998 Lincoln penny. The D mint mark is tiny, stamped on the lower right below Lincoln's bust. But if you look closely, the doubling appears on Lincoln's shoulder and the date itself. Not all doubling is valuable, though. Collectors have spent years cataloging which ones qualify, and only a select few have the intense, dramatic doubling that skyrockets the value into the millions. Think about the excitement for a moment. Someone flips through their pocket change, and suddenly their life changes forever. That ordinary pocket change becomes $1 million treasure. You might even feel your heart racing imagining it. That's the kind of thrill collectors live for. Those few seconds of disbelief when you realize a simple penny is worth more than a house, more than a car, more than most people earn in a lifetime. Then inspect Lincoln's bust. The double die affects the lines around his shoulder and jaw. It's subtle, but with proper lighting and a magnifying glass, it becomes clear. Many overlook it because they don't know what to look for. But once you do, you'll never see a penny the same way again. Collectors have spent decades obsessing over these tiny differences. Every misaligned strike, every double die tells a story. And for the 1998 D, that story is explosive. One discovery can cause a ripple across the collecting world. Auctions spike, phone calls fly, and suddenly ordinary people become millionaires overnight. And the beauty of it? This isn't some distant legend. These coins exist. Right now, waiting to be found. You might even have one in your own home. Maybe in a drawer, a jar, or even loose in your wallet. The sheer idea is electrifying. Just imagine sifting through your spare change tonight, finding a penny that transforms your life forever. That's not hyperbole. It has happened before. And with a 1998 D. Lincoln penny, it could happen again. Some experts will tell you the odds are low. Billions of pennies exist, and only a few have the exact doubling. But history has shown us that ordinary people find extraordinary coins all the time. A lunch break, a forgotten wallet, a bag of coins in a desk drawer. These are the moments that change lives. And for collectors who know what to look for, spotting a genuine 1998 D doubling is nothing short of euphoric. Let's bring it home. If you want to spot this coin, use a magnifying glass and good light. Check the date and the details on Lincoln's bust. Look for that doubled impression, the hallmark of this $1.6 million treasure. Learn the subtle signs, memorize them, and don't underestimate your change. Every jar, every drawer, every piggy bank holds potential secrets. And for the lucky finder, these secrets are worth $1 million. Literally, collectors around the country have stories of disbelief, heart-pounding discovery, and sheer joy when they found a rare penny like this. Some keep them safely locked away, some rush to auction. But every story shares one truth. The thrill of discovery is unmatched. You don't need to travel to the mint. You don't need insider information. You just need to know what to look for and pay attention. This isn't just about money. It's about the excitement, the mystery, and the dream that one simple coin can change everything. Each time you glance at your spare change, remember, history is hidden in the smallest details. A tiny mint mark, a faint doubling, a seemingly ordinary penny. And somewhere, right now, a 1998 D. Lincoln penny is waiting to turn an everyday collector into a millionaire. We're talking about the 2015 D. Mint Mark Lincoln penny. This is not just a coin. It's a potential life-changing discovery hiding in plain sight. Most people pass it by without a second glance. But there's a secret, a mysterious flaw in this series that transformed an everyday penny into $1 million treasure. It all started back in 2015 at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins were being produced by the thousands, and one small error went unnoticed, an anomaly in the strike, a subtle shift in the mint mark placement. Experts call it a die misalignment. But for collectors, it's the golden ticket, the difference between a copper disc and a coin worth $1.70 million. Imagine being the first person to stumble across this coin. One moment, it's just change. The next, it's the key to a fortune. The story of the 2015 D penny is more than metal. It's drama, suspense, and the thrill of discovery. How could something so ordinary hold such extraordinary value? The answer lies in the tiniest details. Details that most people overlook. Here's how you identify it. Look closely at the D mint mark. On a normal penny, the D sits perfectly below the date. On the rare misstrike, the D appears slightly doubled or misplaced, almost as if it's leaning or shifted. That small imperfection is exactly what elevates this coin from everyday to priceless. Then, check the fields around Lincoln's bust. A faint doubling, a subtle doubling of the letters in Liberty or in the date itself can be the signal collectors have been searching for. One tiny detail, and suddenly you're holding $1 million coin. You might be asking yourself, how often does this happen? Rarely. Extremely rarely. Only a handful of these coins exist in the condition that makes them worth millions. That's why even a casual coin collector could be sitting on a treasure that turns an ordinary collection into a once-in-a-lifetime windfall. People dream about this, but very few ever see it with their own eyes. Imagine holding this penny, feeling the weight of history, the thrill of being part of something that most will never experience. The story of these coins isn't just about money. It's about discovery, about the chase, about the heart-stopping moment when you realize that what you thought was ordinary could change your life forever. One glance, 1 second, and you could have the coin that others have spent decades hunting. Now, here's the emotional part, the tension, the suspense. You might have this coin right now. Maybe it's mixed in with your spare change, overlooked, unassuming. Most people never check, never imagine. But the truth is, collectors have found pennies worth over $1 million in the most unlikely places, in desk drawers, in jars of change, in loose coins bought at the grocery store. If you want to find one, you need patience, a keen eye, and knowledge. Examine every 2015 D penny you come across. Hold it up to the light. Look for any irregularities in the mint mark or doubling on the date and letters. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. The details are subtle, but to a trained eye, they're unmistakable. This is how million-dollar coins reveal themselves, quietly, without warning, until the moment of discovery. Collectors who have found these coins describe a surge of emotion, a mix of disbelief and excitement. Can you imagine the feeling of realizing that the pennies you've handled countless times suddenly hold more value than your life savings? That's exactly the story behind the 2015 D Lincoln penny. Ordinary, everyday coins transformed into something extraordinary because of one tiny flaw. It doesn't take luck alone. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better your chances of spotting one. Learning the signs, memorizing the nuances, studying images of verified coins. This is how you separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. You're not just collecting coins, you're hunting history, and each penny carries a story. Think about the thrill again. You're standing over a jar of change. You pick up a 2015 D penny. It looks normal, but then your heart skips a beat. You notice the mint mark isn't quite right. A faint doubling on the letters. A subtle shift that catches your trained eye. Suddenly, you realize the magnitude of what's in your hand. A coin worth over $1 million. Just like that, life changes forever. Millions dream about it, but few experience it. The story of the 2015 D Lincoln penny is more than money. It's suspense, mystery, history, and fortune all rolled into one small disc. Each coin carries the potential to turn a mundane collection into a treasure trove. And for the collector with the patience and the eye for detail, the reward could be unimaginable. Remember, this isn't about rushing or panicking. It's about careful, methodical inspection. Know what to look for. Study the mint mark. Examine the date. Look for doubling. These tiny details are the difference between a regular penny and a piece of history worth millions. The truth is, you could be holding a fortune without knowing it. That thrill, that suspense, the dream of discovery. It's why collectors continue to hunt, why jars of coins are suddenly exciting, and why the 2015 D Lincoln penny has captured imaginations across the country. This coin is proof that treasure can be found in the most ordinary places, waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. Every coin has a story, but some coins have legends attached to them. The 2015 D penny is one of those legends, a hidden gem among everyday coins, capable of changing lives with a single discovery. For collectors who recognize it, the reward is real, tangible, and life-changing. So, take a look at your coins. Examine your jars, your drawers, your wallets. Don't dismiss anything as ordinary. The 2015 D Lincoln penny is proof that history, rarity, and fortune can hide in the most unassuming places. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. Back in 1990, the U.S. Mint struck millions of pennies. Most of them ended up in circulation and faded into everyday life. But there's one version, one tiny difference, that turned a simple copper coin into a potential life-changing treasure. Collectors who discovered it have gone from everyday lives to million-dollar dreams overnight. The story starts with a mint error. You see, pennies are supposed to look identical, but sometimes mistakes slip through. One particular 1990 Lincoln penny was struck in a way that makes it rare, almost impossible to find. This penny doesn't just carry history, it carries money, real, jaw-dropping, million-dollar value. Now, imagine holding that coin in your hand. The weight, the texture, the faint imprint of history. It's not just a piece of metal. It's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. And the truth? Most people will never recognize it because the difference is subtle. But once you know what to look for, the secret is clear. Here's how you identify it. First, check the mint mark. The D stands for Denver, but that's just the beginning. On this rare penny, the D is positioned slightly higher than normal, almost as if it's floating above the date. Most pennies have the mint mark neatly aligned, but this one is misaligned just enough to catch the eye if you're looking closely. Next, examine the date. The 1990 should be crisp and clear, but this special penny has a unique feature. A tiny doubling effect on the numbers, barely visible unless you hold it under the right light. This doubling is subtle, but it's what makes this coin extraordinarily rare. You could have dozens of 1990 pennies in your collection and never spot the difference, unless you know this secret. Think about the people who found theirs. They weren't looking for a million-dollar coin. They were just sorting through change, scanning jars of pennies they'd collected over the years. And suddenly, they found it. In one moment, their ordinary day turned into something unimaginable. That it's rare? Yes, but it's also perfect. Collectors value it because it's a surviving error, a testament to a moment when something went wrong at the mint and the world never noticed. The fewer that exist, the more coveted they become, driving the value into the millions. Imagine holding one in your hand. The edge is worn from years in circulation, yet the subtle minting mistake intact. It's a connection to history, a story frozen in copper, and a potential key to changing your life. There are collectors who spent years chasing coins like this, and the reward is literally $1 million sitting in a small, unassuming circle of copper. Here's another tip to spot it. Look for any unusual lines or doubling on Lincoln's profile. On normal pennies, Lincoln's bust is consistent. But on this rare 1990D, faint doubling can appear along the jawline or shoulder, tiny signs that the coin was struck differently than every other penny you've ever held. It's almost like the coin is whispering its secret to anyone who pays attention. Remember, not every 1990D penny is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth just a few cents. That's what makes finding the rare one so life-changing. You need patience, a careful eye, and the knowledge to know exactly what you're looking for. The payoff, however, can be staggering. $1 million potential in something so small you could slip it into your pocket right now. Collectors often describe the thrill of spotting it as electric. Your heart races, your hands shake, and suddenly the jar of pennies you've ignored for years could contain a fortune. It's not just the money, it's the story, the mystery, the thrill of discovery. And every detail matters. The mint mark, the date, the subtle doubling, the alignment. That if you want to check your coins, start by examining any 1990D pennies you have. Hold them in bright light. Look for that tiny doubling effect. Inspect the mint mark closely. Compare them to other pennies from the same year. The difference is subtle but unmistakable. Once you spot it, you'll understand why collectors have paid millions for this exact coin. The moment someone discovers a rare penny like this, everything changes. Ordinary days turn into life-changing stories. A simple pocket coin becomes the centerpiece of a collection and a ticket to financial freedom. The chance to uncover a $1.8 million coin is rare, but it's real, and it could be hiding right under your nose. One small detail, one moment of attention, 1 second of curiosity, and you could hold a piece of history and wealth in your hand. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures, but few are as shocking, as mysterious, and as potentially life-changing as this 1990D Lincoln penny. Some collectors have searched for decades without finding it. Others stumbled upon it by accident. The truth is, it's waiting for someone who's ready to see it, to recognize it, and to appreciate its incredible value. A coin that carries a story, a mistake frozen in copper, and a fortune waiting to be claimed. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often invisible to the untrained eye. This penny doesn't shout its value. It whispers, and only the observant hear it. And for those who do, the reward is more than a story. It's $1 million reality. So, when you look at your 1990D pennies, pay attention to the mint mark, examine the date, and search for those subtle doubling lines. The effort is worth it, because somewhere among your change, a fortune could be hiding. Not just a story, not just a collectible, but $1.8 million waiting to be claimed. I'm talking about a 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth over $1 million. A single penny, just 36 years old, hiding in plain sight, holding a fortune that could turn your world upside down. But this is exactly what collectors and experts are whispering about in hushed tones. The story begins with an almost unthinkable mistake in the United States Mint. In 1987, nearly 14 billion pennies were produced across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Each coin was stamped with a mint mark, or, in the case of Philadelphia, left blank. Most of these pennies are ordinary, worth exactly 1 cent. But a tiny number escaped the minting process in a way no one could have predicted. A misstep in production created what is now known as the 1987 no mint mark penny. Only a handful exist in pristine condition. And today, one of these pennies could fetch over $1 million at auction. You might be thinking, how can I even know if I have one? This is where it gets both thrilling and painstaking. First, the date. Look carefully at the front of the coin, the obverse side. A 1987 penny has Abraham Lincoln's profile, just like any other penny from that era. But here's the twist. Check for the mint mark. A normal Philadelphia coin has no D or S, which is expected. But this coin is different. The no mint mark variation in question was a production anomaly, and it comes with subtle signs that only a keen eye can spot. The first telltale sign is the quality of the strike. Most pennies from 1987 show clear, but standard, impressions of Lincoln's features. The rare no mint mark version often has an unusually sharp and deep strike. Lincoln's hair, his jawline, even the fine lines on his coat appear more pronounced than normal. It's as if the coin was crafted with extra care, almost like an artist left a signature in the metal. Next, examine the rim. Ordinary pennies have a consistent rim height and thickness. This rare penny sometimes shows a slight variation, not enough to jump out at a casual glance, but just enough that a trained collector or grader would notice immediately. It's a subtle difference, almost like a whisper from history, telling you that this coin is special. Now, imagine the moment a collector first realized the significance. It wasn't a thunderbolt of discovery. It was quiet, almost mundane, a coin in a jar, a casual glance, and then a slow realization. This is not ordinary. Experts authenticated it, and suddenly, what once seemed like pocket change was revealed to be a treasure worth over $1 million. One coin, unassuming, ordinary to most, but capable of transforming a life overnight. And it's not just about money. There's a story here that's almost cinematic. Each of these pennies carries the memory of a human error, the legacy of a minting process gone slightly off course, and the dreams of anyone who has ever searched through their spare change hoping for something more. Every detail of this penny speaks to possibility, to luck, to the thrill of discovery. The truth is, yes, it's possible. Many collectors check their coins repeatedly, scanning rolls of pennies, examining them under magnification, looking for that perfect combination of date, strike, and rim detail. They hold the coin to the light, turning it over slowly, hoping the glint will reveal its secret. And when it does, the heart races. The mind spins. The reality sets in. This is the coin that could change everything. Learning to spot it is part art, part science. Use a magnifying glass, a loupe if you have one. Look for Lincoln's features, sharper than normal, almost three-dimensional. Examine the copper closely. These pennies have a luster that ordinary coins often lack, a subtle shine that hints at their rarity. Inspect the rim, the edges, the date. The difference is subtle, yes, but in the world of coin collecting, subtlety is everything. Collectors who have found one describe it as almost surreal. They recount the disbelief, the calls to dealers, the careful handling, and the eventual authentication. And then comes the part most of us dream about, the realization that this small, unassuming piece of metal could be worth a life-changing sum. $1 million. One coin. One chance. Even if you've gone through thousands of pennies and found nothing, the suspense never dies. Every jar of change, every drawer of coins, carries the possibility that one of these rare treasures is sitting there, completely unnoticed. And when it's found, it's not just money. It's history, it's excitement, it's the fulfillment of a dream you didn't even know you were chasing. So, the next time you sift through your coins, take a moment. Look closely, study the details, appreciate the possibilities. This isn't just a hobby, it's a quest, a search for something extraordinary in the ordinary. Every coin holds a story. Some tell tales of everyday life. Some, like the 1987 no mint Mark Lincoln penny, hold the power to make millionaires. Imagine holding it in your hand, feeling its weight, its texture, its history, knowing that one small slip at the mint decades ago created something far more valuable than its face suggests. The thrill is almost overwhelming. The realization that anyone could stumble across one, maybe even you, adds a layer of suspense that collectors live for every day. Millions of pennies exist in circulation. Most will never be worth more than a cent. But the 1987 no mint mark penny stands apart. It reminds us that treasures exist in plain sight, that life-changing discoveries can be ordinary until we see them with the right eyes. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. The chance, the hope, the impossible made possible. So examine your coins. Study the details. Hold them to the light. Listen to the whispers of history etched into their surface. Because one day, you might lift a penny from your drawer, glance at it, and feel the thrill of discovery. You might find the coin that collectors dream about, the coin that could transform your life.